This presentation explores the strategic process of selecting candidates and optimizing value through effective leadership and stakeholder involvement. We will cover key theories, practical approaches, and value-driven rationale that guide candidate selection and team motivation. Southwest Transit selected its 6 team members to lead its urgent marketing campaign in response to a competitor's aggressive expansion. Each individual was chosen for their specialized expertise spanning marketing, finance, operations, and human resources, ensuring a balanced mix of analytical and creative skills. Management applied frameworks such as goal-setting theory, conflict resolution strategies, and cost leadership principles to assemble a group capable of working under pressure. Elizabeth, Natalie, Caitlin, and Susan were chosen to round out Southwest Transit team because of their broad complementary strengths essential to the campaign's success. Elizabeth contributed analytical rigor and financial insight, ensuring cost leadership strategies were viable. Natalie added creative marketing vision, shaping messaging around the new Boeing 747. And Caitlin offered an operational discipline, keeping the 6-week timeline realistic and achievable. Susan provided human resources and conflict resolution expertise, fostering collaboration under pressure. And together, these 4 balanced the earliest selections, creating a team with both strategic depth and interpersonal resilience, capable of designing a campaign that restored customer loyalty and defended market share. All right, on this slide, this team excels in leadership, accountability, and high performance, thriving under pressure with strong time management and innovation. Their cohesion and motivation enabled rapid execution and adaptive problem solving, especially in high stakes environments. However, their long tenure with the company, resilience on traditional approaches may limit fresh perspectives and agility. Familiarity among members could reduce constructive conflict and challenge, potentially stalling breakthrough ideas. While resilient and efficient, the team may benefit from external input or newer voices to counterbalance institutional habits and ensure that strategies remain competitive and forward-thinking in a rapidly evolving market. This team demonstrates strong leadership potential and with individuals capable of guiding high-pressure initiatives effectively. Their relevant experience ensures they understand the operational and strategic demands of the task, while their adaptability allows them to pivot quickly in response to market shifts or internal challenges. Each member shows a clear commitment to objectives, aligning personal accountability with organizational goals. Together, these traits form a resilient focus unit capable of executing complex campaigns under tight deadlines. Their blend of experience, flexibility, and dedication makes them well suited for high-stake projects requiring both innovation and disciplined follow-through. So we're now moving on to the motivation strategies. So one of the ones we're looking at is expectancy theory. Explains motivation through 3 interconnected beliefs: expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. Expectancy is the belief that effort leads to performance. If individuals lack resources or ability, motivation declines. Instrumentality reflects the belief that performance will lead to rewards. Unclear or inconsistent reward systems weaken this link and reduces drive. Valence is the value placed on the reward itself. Motivation increases when outcomes align with personal goals or priorities. Together, these components show that motivation depends not just on effort, but on the perceived likelihood of success and the desirability of the reward. Clear goals and meaningful incentives are essential. Moving on to additional motivation strategies, we're going to be looking at Hertzberg's two-factor theory, which explains employee motivation through two categories: hygiene factors and motivators. Hygiene factors such as salary, job security, and working conditions prevent dissatisfaction but don't drive engagement. Motivators like recognition, achievement, and growth actively enhance satisfaction and performance. Hertzberg argues that improving hygiene factors won't alone motivate employees. True engagement comes from enriching the job itself. This theory encourages leaders to design roles that foster autonomy, mastery, and purpose while maintaining baseline conditions that will avoid frustration. By addressing these sets of factors, organizations can build a more motivated, productive workforce that thrives beyond basic expectations. Moving on to the next slide is dealing with conflict management theory, which emphasizes structured approaches to resolve disputes, which balances assertiveness with cooperation. Confrontational theory views conflict as inevitable and often necessary for growth, encouraging direct engagement rather than avoidance. Within this framework, the collaborative confrontational style blends openness with problem solving, where parties confront issues directly but work together towards mutually beneficial outcomes. This style values honesty, accountability, and respect, ensuring conflicts are addressed without hostility by combining confrontation with collaboration. Teams can transform disagreements into opportunities for innovation, stronger relationships, and clearer alignment on goals, ultimately enhancing performance and organizational cohesion under pressure. Now we're moving on to application of transformational leadership theory, which emphasizes inspiring, motivating followers to exceed expectations by focusing on vision, values, and personal growth. Leaders use this approach to create a compelling vision, communicate it very clearly, and foster trust through integrity and authenticity. They encourage innovation, challenge assumptions, and support individuals in developing their potential. Transformational leaders act as role models, stimulating intellectual engagement while providing individualized consideration to team members. This style goes beyond transactional exchanges, aiming to transform both people and organizations. By aligning personal goals with organizational objectives, transformational leadership drives higher performance, commitment, and long-term organizational success. Now we're looking at incorporation of situational leadership theory, which was developed by Paul Hershey and Ken Blanchard, which emphasizes that effective leadership depends on adapting style to the maturity and readiness of followers. Leaders assess a team's competence and commitment. Then they adjust their approach across four styles: directing, coaching, supporting, and delegating. Directing pretty much provides clear instructions for inexperienced members, while coaching combines guidance with encouragement. Supporting empowers a capable individual needing confidence in delegating and trust responsibility to highly skilled, motivated employees. This flexibility in modeling highlights that no single leadership style fits all situations. Success comes from diagnosing needs and tailoring behavior to maximize performance and development. Now we move on to the final one, the 4 parts of conscious capitalism: higher purpose, stakeholder orientation, conscious leadership, and conscious culture. These principles emphasize that businesses should go beyond profit to create value for all stakeholders, guided by ethical leadership and a supportive culture. Conscious capitalism begins with a higher purpose, where companies define a mission beyond just financial gains. Stakeholder orientation ensures value creation for employees, customers, suppliers, communities, and stakeholders alike. Conscious leadership highlights the leaders who act with integrity and vision, inspiring trust. Finally, conscious capitalism fosters the collaboration, transparency, and care, embedded values into daily operations for sustainable success. All right, so we're moving on to the stakeholder analysis, which includes employees, customers, and investors. Companies rely on three basic core stakeholders, which are dealing with the employees, the customers, and investors. Employees drive daily operations, innovation, and serve quality, making their engagement vital to productivity culture. Customers provide revenue and market validation, so their satisfaction and loyalty directly influence growth and reputation. Investors supply the financial resources needed for expansion and stability and long-term sustainability, while expecting responsible management and returns. Balancing these groups requires aligning interests, ensuring treatment of employees delivering value to the customers, and generating results for investors. When managed effectively, this independence generates resilience, trust, and competitive advantage, position the company for lasting success in dynamic markets. Okay, alignment of mission, values, and success. So with this particular one, we're looking at aligning our mission, the values, and success, which ensures organizational coherence and long-term impact. A clear mission defines purpose and direction, guiding decisions and strategies. Values establish the ethical foundation, shaping culture and behavior while fostering trust among stakeholders. Success measured through the outcomes and performance reflects how well the mission and values are lived out in practice. When these three elements align, the organizations achieve consistency between vision, actions, and results. This alignment strengthens credibility, motivates employees, and builds resilience, ensuring that growth is not only profitable but meaningful, sustainable, and true to the organization's core identity. And finally, these are the references, and that is all from this particular slide deck.